Kleschka Picks, Week 17. It is the final week of the regular season, and it means that it's the final week of my picks for the regular season. But let's get it underway. The Seahawks and the 49ers. The Seahawks lost surprisingly at home to the Cardinals last week, and the 49ers barely beat the Rams. We're playing in San Francisco. I think the Seahawks are going to have an easy time beating them. San Francisco is not a good team this year. The Seahawks are a playoff team. I think that's going to get them to win. I think the Seahawks are going to win 27-10. The Ravens and the Bengals. The Ravens lost last week and the Bengals lost last week. The Bengals lost to the Texans and the Ravens lost to the Steelers. Antonio Brown scored a game-winning touchdown, and I was 1 point off in that game. That would have been my first one I ever got correct. The final score was 31-27. I guessed 30-27, which would have been the score. The Ravens blocked the PAT, but there was a flag. They got to re-kick, and then it ended up being 31-27. I was super bummed. However, I think Baltimore is definitely the better team in this game. Cincinnati's been struggling this year. Baltimore's been good this year. They may have lost the division, but I think they're going to beat Cincinnati. I think they're going to win 24-14. The Jaguars and the Colts. The Jaguars beat Tennessee last week. They pulled some trickery too. Blake Bortles scored a touchdown, and Indianapolis lost to Oakland while in that game that Derek Carr got injured. And the Colts lost to Oakland. I think Jacksonville got very lucky last week. I definitely thought Tennessee was the better team, but they did play good. 38 points, I can't really say it's lucky. That's just a good game for the Jaguars. The Colts played a good game with the Raiders, but I think they're going to get the win this week against Jacksonville. I think the Colts are going to win 30-20. New England and Miami. New England absolutely destroyed the Jets. 41-3. Oh my. Miami won in overtime. Jay took a run, 50-something yards down the field, and then they just kicked the field goal to win it. New England is a dominant team. I think they're going to stay dominant. I think they're going to win 31-17. The Bears and the Vikings. The Bears lost to the Redskins last week, and Minnesota lost to Green Bay last week. Aaron Rodgers went off on Minnesota, and the Redskins scored 40+ on the Bears. But I think this is going to be pretty even, actually. Matt Barkley's been a pretty good quarterback for the Bears, and Minnesota's been going downhill of late. And even though Minnesota's been going downhill, I think they're still going to get the win. I think their defense will be good enough to handle Matt Barkley and get him a win. So I think they're going to win 23-17. The Bills and the Jets. The Bills may have just fired Rex Ryan, but that's not really going to matter because this is a team almost any coach can get a win against this year. And I think Buffalo's just going to have a good game. The Jets struggled big time last week. I know they're playing New England, but where was the offense? New England isn't a dominating defense. They're definitely a dominating offense. I think the Jets are going to struggle once more. I think the Bills are going to have a good day. I think they're going to finish the season strong. And I think the Bills are going to win 28-10. The Cowboys and the Eagles. Ezekiel Elliott is very close to that rushing record. He's like 160 yards away or something like that. Will he get it? Who knows? He definitely could with that offensive line. Dallas beat Detroit last week, and Philadelphia beat the Giants last week. I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to get that rushing record. I think it's going to happen. I think he wants it. I think he wants it super bad. Who wouldn't want it? He's a rookie, and he could hold the record for most rushing yards in a season. I think they're going to dominate. I think the Cowboys are going to win 34-21. The Browns and the Steelers. The Browns won a game. I was actually kind of saddened by that. I was really hoping the Browns would go 0-16. Not because I hate the Browns or anything. I thought it'd just be cool to see a team go 0-16. And the Steelers won last week with that Antonio Brown touchdown against the Ravens. That got them the division. They're going to the playoffs. And sorry, Cleveland. I know you won last week, but I do not think that's going to continue this week. The Steelers are a much better team than the Chargers. I think they're going to dominate, actually, in this game. I think that makes sense. I think the Steelers are going to win 42-14. The Buccaneers and the Panthers, both of these teams lost last week. Carolina lost to Atlanta, and Tampa Bay lost to New Orleans. And this week, I think Tampa Bay is going to take the cake. Tampa Bay is a good offense. Carolina has been struggling. They do still have people on their team that can get the job done. Cam, Greg, Kelvin Benjamin, Jonathan Stewart. They can all play good, but they don't every game, and sometimes that leads them to a loss, and that's been a struggling thing for them this season. I think this game will be kind of close. I think Tampa would love to beat Carolina, considering that they can still make the playoffs, but it is a crazy, crazy situation. There has to be like 7 teams that lose and there has to be a tie for them to make the playoffs. It's just crazy. In the end, I think Tampa is going to win 27-23. The Texans and the Titans. Last week, the Texans won a very low-scoring game, and the Titans lost last week. I think the Texans are going to struggle in this game. I think the Titans are going to come back to that great offense that they've shown this season. I think Tennessee just had a little trouble last week. Mariota's injured, I think. I'm not completely sure on that one. I thought I heard something about him being injured, but I think Tennessee will still have a good day. I think Tennessee's going to win 28-17. The Falcons and the Saints. The Falcons won last week against Carolina, and the Saints won also against Tampa. The Saints are not at home this week. They're playing in Atlanta, so that's a disadvantage for the Saints because they play way better at home. But I think they're not going to have a terrible day, but I think Atlanta is going to have a great day. The Saints defense is really good for any offense to play against, and I think that's what's going to happen this week for Atlanta. I think the Falcons are going to win 38-24. The Giants and the Redskins. The Giants lost to Philadelphia last week, and the Redskins beat Chicago. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. They may not be evenly matched in record, like they may not be exactly the same in record is what I'm trying to say, but I think their skill level is actually pretty evenly matched. They're two very similar teams to me in my opinion. With that said, I think this is going to be a close game. However, I think the winner in the end is going to be the Giants, and I think they're going to win 24-21. The Raiders and the Broncos. The Broncos lost last week to Kansas City, and the Raiders beat the Colts. The Raiders beat the Colts. However, Derek Carr got injured in that game. He will not be able to play. It will be Matt McGloin starting for the Raiders. And I think even though he's the quarterback, I still think they'll be able to get the win. Denver's been struggling. Their defense is not the same. Matt McGloin's got good weapons around him. He's got Crabtree. He's got Amari Cooper. He's got big tight ends. He can definitely get the job done if he uses those correctly. I think Sebastian Janikowski is also going to play a part in this. I think he's going to get a couple field goals that might be very important. But I think Oakland is going to beat Denver 23-13. The Cardinals and the Rams. The Cardinals beat us at home last week, like I said. I still am a little shocked over that. The Seahawks just are a very unpredictable team. I don't get it. We can beat the Patriots. We lose to the Buccaneers. I don't know. The Seahawks are just very hard to predict. The Rams only lost by a point to the 49ers. And that was just a battle of pride. None of them are going to the playoffs. None of them got much going for them. However, I think Arizona's going to keep their winning streak going this week. I think they're going to beat the Rams. I think they have the better team. The Rams are going through a lot right now. So I think Arizona's going to win 27-17. The Chiefs and the Chargers. The Chiefs are very confident for beating the Broncos. And San Diego is not so confident after losing to the Browns. Kansas City has a great team. Tyreek Hill is making a huge difference on that team. I love that guy. He is an amazing player. He is fun to watch. He is so fast. That guy is fast, super fast. And towards the end of the season, Phillip Rivers has been struggling, and I think that's going to continue. Kansas City's a good defense, and I don't think it's a team he'll start picking up his offense against. So I think the Chiefs are going to win 31-23. And the final game, the Packers and the Lions. This is for the division. This division always seems to come down to the final game. The Packers are usually always involved versus one of the other teams, Bears, Vikings, or Lions. But it's coming down to it again, and I think this is going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be back and forth. Lions take the lead, Packers take the lead, Lions, Packers, and so. But I think the Packers are going to win ultimately. I think they're going to win 28-27. I do not think Matthew Stafford's going to be able to come back this time. Alright guys, that is one full season of Kleschka's Picks. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you made it from week 1 to week 17, thank you so much. I love doing these picks. I love picking predictions and winners. I did not get one right. Hopefully I get one right this week. It would be awesome to end the season with a correct score. But comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.